Hello there guys and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about them. Well, hello there, and look at that. I knew I did something wrong with my camera, but it's fine. We're gonna get that sorted. I think we're good now. I think all the sides are covered. So either way guys, welcome back to the stream. So we did have to unfortunately skip a week of KT time because, well, natural disasters and all that fun stuff, but we're back again and we have a ton of things to talk to. So what's up Tristan, Joel, Nayan, Corentin, Kinger, and everybody else here. As usual during KT time, we're gonna read the chat. However, we're not gonna actually reply to, because the whole format of this is much more meant to be what is happening with my webcam. I hope it's not gonna give me many issues, but yeah, the whole point is to have like more podcast, more discussion type of format with Mandalorian. So say hello to everybody, Mandalorian.
Hello everybody, I'm happy to be back.
And
somehow
yeah.
I turned Irish.
So we didn't do one last week due to, well, reasons.
First it was Valentine's Day, and then when we were going to do it, I had no power or water, so yeah.
Yep, pretty much. So, well, you're back in your home.
Back home.
You
back in the
returned to
saddle
civilization.
again. Yes, I finally know what it's like to be in modern times with heat, a roof over my head, air, water. You have to boil the water because the bacteria are still in the water for drinking, but other than that, we're good.
Well, so we have a ton of things to talk to this time, even though, I mean, overall, February, and we're gonna get to kind of like breaking down February at the end of the podcast, but overall, it hasn't been the most busy. There has always been like a ton of little things happening for the most part, and yeah, but the big thing that I think we need to start with is definitely the downtimes and maintenances time after time. There have been a bunch of alliances who didn't manage to maybe get the last boss skills in. I know myself, well, I struggled quite a bit with these well, downtimes during my streams. I had several streams that spent part of them waiting for the game to come back on. So it certainly has been quite shaky, and unfortunately it's part of a trend, you could say, because last month we had horrible time. We had horrible time earlier this month, and they came back with vengeance. So what's your take on the current, well, stability of the game?
It seems like it's weird. We go through these ups and downs, and like this reminds me more of what was happening October of 2019, whenever we had like multiple downtimes. They had to end the war season early and everything because it was just causing too many issues. It's not quite as bad as that, but it seems like, and I know they're about to have a big like 4-hour maintenance, which is a pretty long maintenance, because we used to have maintenances like every week. There'd be like an hour or two at the most, but this is gonna be a big 4-hour one. Hopefully it fixes a lot of these issues, but like I know for a fact, like we barely got a war boss down in one of my battle groups for the main alliance. We pretty much like watched other teams that were trying to go at the end of it, and like they couldn't because the contest went down for maintenance. Yesterday was like a huge example of like multiple times the game went down. And then the worst part is, like, Alliance Quest just started today, but like with war, not only does it affect the fact that it causes a death against you, but you lose half your health, so that's more resources you got to do. It could possibly be the difference between winning and losing a war if it's a tight race like that. I mean, you're not able to get the boss down. It's just, it's very frustrating, and they really haven't, and I'm not saying we want like a 6-star Nexus or something, but it's just like, it's been down enough this past week that they really haven't acknowledged how bad it's been. They've just had little things on the forum, which if you never go to the forum, you would never even know they're acknowledging it. It just seems like they don't care. because like the game is constantly going down and people are fed up with it. The people on the forum are fed up with it, but there's people that aren't even
obviously, like,
aren't
this
even
forum
voicing.
isn't quite representative, like, of
No.
most of the player base. I noticed myself, like, when Kabam or Marvel Console Champions official Twitter account tweeted out anything this week, then pretty much everybody immediately is like, well, how about you tell us why the game's down instead of tweeting here, kind of like thing. Obviously, it's different people responsible for keeping game up and sending out those tweets and managing the Twitter account, but I kind of find it funny that whenever they actually try to say anything and get anything out there, the first response immediately was, well, how about you fix this thing first? And
which is justified. I mean, it's very justified.
Exactly. And
they definitely delete posts on the forum. That's why I don't even go to forums anymore, because
that is a very big part of the reason why I find forum to be one of the most toxic places, because it's a very nasty combination of people who have the authority, obviously being interested in sweeping a lot of things under the rug, but they also have a lot of support from, let's say, differently minded community. And again, I have issues with my webcam. I don't know what it is. Hopefully it stops messing about. It might be to do with my internet connection, but we'll see. Hopefully.
And you know, normally I'm not one that screams, oh, compensation, but considering it's been happening during a war season, and I know it affected multiple people, and as someone's saying in the chat even, you know, am I wrong that thinking we deserve some form of compensation? And I think at this point in time, no, you're not. I think that we should get something, whether that be boosts or something, because it has affected an actual competitive game mode, which has a long-term effect over weeks from now whenever it ends. You know, it doesn't make any sense to not expect compensation.
Yeah,
revive something.
Just remembered not this current war, but I think the last war before that, majority of the actual deaths in the war were down to bugs or disconnect, nothing like that. Imagine a situation where vast majority of what happened in the war and has gone wrong has been decided by inadequacies of the game.
Yeah.
And it's quite scary situation, like. But we have a quick question here.
Shut up and take my money.
Dog and
$72 is Defender diversity per BG?
Yes, and Defender diversity is based on Bath Group. Fortunately, I don't know what's up with my webcam. Hopefully it gets better. But yes, Defender diversity is always calculated per BG, or Bath Group.
Yeah. So if you have like an Immortal Abomination in Battle Group 1, you can have an Immortal Abomination in Battle Group 2 and 3, and they don't count against diversity. But if you had 2 in the same battle group, obviously it would count against it.
Exactly. But yeah, so war situation has been very sketchy and very, very scary for every level of alliances. Obviously, there have been wars where those downtimes kind of cancel each other out. If each alliance has died twice because of disconnect, it doesn't affect it. But there are times when it's not evenly distributed, and it is a massive problem at this point. To be honest, there's 50-50 on the fence whether they should or should not cancel this current season, especially counting in the apocalypse bug, which I discussed in a couple of my war videos and a video separate to that, where champions just dash in at apocalypse during special attack.
Yeah, makes no sense. It's weird, man. We're having weird bugs, and it seems like the more... It's kind of weird. It's like, I guess the best way I could describe it is, we know for a fact that the game has been going on for over 6 years now, but it's like, as they've added more complexity to the game, and more nodes, and more, champions, and buffs of champions, and all this, it's almost like the foundation of the game is unstable, and so every time something gets piled on, it's like balancing plates. You're trying to keep plates spinning without falling, and it's getting worse and worse because they haven't fixed the basics of the game. And honestly, I don't know if they can. I honestly don't know if they're able to do it, because every month we see with an update even there's issues, and then now we're having these game downtimes, and it's 2 weeks after the update, and they're going to do a big you know, a big maintenance on Tuesday, but considering that majority of the downtimes have been after this past Tuesday, why the heck didn't they just do a maintenance on Tuesday this week? You know, that
Well, they
it almost
probably
seems
hadn't
like
had
they
the
could have.
fixes in. It's kind of like the similar
Yeah.
situation where we have these persistent charge bugs, like Human Torch,
Yeah.
Nick Fury, Apocalypse, and a bunch of other champions, obviously, that rely on persistent charge and panic.
Corvus and- yeah.
It has been on and off and affecting different groups of people for months. Now, I have been
Oh, yeah.
relatively fortunate, and I think I only have had that bug happen to me like once or twice some months ago. But that's
Yeah.
the thing, it's like nobody knows whenever it's gonna creep up, and it's like always different people, and they just genuinely seem unable to fix their game.
Yeah, they can't fix it, and they won't acknowledge that it's broken when it is broken, which kind of pisses me off. It's not like if I don't like if I'm a normal player, like most of the time before when I first started playing this, I never even went to the forums. I didn't check it. Most people don't. I would say 80% of the player base, you know, estimated, doesn't go to the forum. So you have 20% are the most vocal, and most of them are the ones that are just fed up. They finally go there, or the people that defend Kabam no matter they can do no wrong. But they have not acknowledged this to the general player base, like via in-game message, anything other than the message that pops up when the game is actually down.
And it's
So
like
it's
quite
like,
funny you should mention. I think I started looking at the forums in the first place
Yeah.
purely because of issues with the game.
yeah. And that's the thing, and like even the post that's been up on the screen for a bit now, it's like, you know, then the problem is you got people that complain, okay, I couldn't get my blah defense in or whatever, and then you got people saying, well, why did you wait the last 30 minutes? It doesn't matter. Kabam has given us that time frame. It shouldn't be, you can't say it's bad time management for people or something. I agree you should get them in earlier, but end of the day, you know you're supposed to have a certain amount of hours to do that. And if Kabam is not giving you those certain amount of hours, that's not our fault. That falls on Kabam. It has nothing to do with the player being time management or whatnot. It has to do with Kabam not keeping their responsibility and continuing that to affect competitive game styles, which are how people get the rewards that they spend a month going after. And this one downtime for even a couple of minutes can cost an entire 30 people rewards they should have got because the game went down.
Yeah, quite
And that's
definitely.
frustrating.
The way I like to look at the game being up when it's meant to be up, as in like any time, unless announced maintenance is coming, is the same thing as people look when they try and catch a bus or a tram or a train.
Yeah.
You don't go to train station 2 hours early, right? You know when the train's
right.
coming, you know when you need to be there, you know when you need to get in, or when you go to store, right? If you finish work and at 5, you know store is meant to be open till 6, you don't stress about it. You do not make different arrangements because in your head, you're gonna have plenty of time to get to the store and do your shopping, and imagine stores suddenly closed an hour early, right? Obviously you're gonna be frustrated. And then smart asses come out and says like, oh, you could have done your shopping in the morning. It's like, well,
yeah,
what
but
does
why
that
would I have to
matter?
replan
Like,
my day?
Why does that matter? The store's meant to be open when it's meant to be open.
Yeah, and that's what's so stupid. That's why, that's what makes it frustrating to people when they come and they try and actively pick apart a statement that you make to defend a
Something
company.
that shouldn't even be defended or discussed.
It should never be. It doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah,
if
it's kind of like me trying to find positives about smoking, let's say.
yeah,
And I can easily say, oh, it helped me socially when I was in high school, right? I met a lot of cool people and stuff like that. Ultimately, none of it matters. Smoking sucks, it's expensive, and it's killing you, right? And the same thing is happening in Kabam forums, where people are just basically trying to defend things that nobody should ever defend.
yeah, it makes no sense. It just makes no sense, and that's why I just hate the forums. But it's like, how else do you get their attention? And that's the frustrating part. You know what I mean? I don't know, man.
I
It's-
definitely do, and I suppose what is frustrating, because at the same time we do have a lot of reasons to be kind of like happy because the game is moving forward, champion animations are cool, champion quality, we're gonna get to that later on, but in general we have more and more things happening in the game, and Kabam are doing good things. I'm not ever gonna like stand up and say it's like everything they do is horrible. No, obviously we play this game. I want them to succeed, and I can see positive things happening.
Yeah,
It's just
definitely.
frustrating when every single time something positive is always mixed in with the whole pile of incompetence and errors and downtimes and stuff like that.
Yeah, it is frustrating. So hopefully this maintenance coming up fixes it, but they need to acknowledge it with an entire player base, and I believe some form of compensation. I'm not saying to give out 6 stars. I'm not even saying to give out I'm not even saying to give out any crystals. I think some resources would be nice,
Yeah,
specifically for
they're
War
probably gonna
Alliance
do that
quests.
kind of like standard rate with maybe a couple of boosts, some, if they're gonna do anything at
Yeah.
all. That's the first question. If they're gonna do anything at all, it's probably gonna be in form of like a couple of boosts, a couple of revives, a couple of potions, some energy refills. That's about it, and I'm fine with that. The main thing I generally want to get, like for instance for me, I would very much appreciate some energy refills. Never have enough of those, and if they give me some, I'll be happy with that.
It'd be nice.
Again, do not know whether we're gonna get it or not.
Yeah, we have no idea. So, well, we'll see, kind of thing, you know. Is what it is, kind of thing.
But yeah, for what it's worth, I do think that some symbolic gesture should definitely be in order, because they have in fact caused a lot of frustration, a lot of anger with many people.
Yeah. Speaking of frustrations, and at this time with all these crazy game down and everything, did you know there's a new crystal out there in the store you can buy?
Oh, I noticed that. Yes, there is a
Did
very
you notice
interesting
that?
crystal.
Yeah, it's a crystal, and it gives you like a resource, but you also have this opportunity to get something that could be new and shiny.
Really?
Gold even. Golden.
Well, let's take a look at them. Let's jump into the crystal store.
Okay,
and,
let's do that.
And see what is this exciting, and it's
Some
available for pretty much entire week, still like 5 days and 20 hours.
5
so-
days, and you only have to be uncollected to get the newer one, but the
Yeah.
other one is available to everyone.
Look
So
at
we've
one
seen
of
the
them
pools.
has 6 stars next to it.
6 stars. Oh my god, that must mean I can have a 6-star gold pool pretty easily, because we've seen the pool's gold crystal before, where I think it came out June of 2019, if I remember correctly, and you could get gold pool or at least 4,800 gold. Now this one gives you at least 15,000 gold, and oh, look at that, you can get either gold for 99.75%, or you can get, a 5-star gold pool, or you can get 0.05% for a 6-star. Wait a minute. 0.05%? That's like... Wait a minute.
That's not
That
a
means
lot.
I have to spend...
That's not a lot.
I have to spend $13,000 if I bought only 3,100 unit packs to get a guaranteed 6-star. That's not even duping him. 13,000 US dollars? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
That's insane.
that would kind of be the average amount. Like, if everything would equal out, like, let's say, if the odds worked a bit differently, and if everybody would take exact mathematical average,
Right.
there would be quite a lot of money to kind of like have a good chance to acquire this champion.
So the other thing too, have you seen anybody open these by spinning the crystals?
Oh yeah, I've seen a bunch of people. I actually have seen a bunch of people get lucky and pull them, like a couple of crystals and stuff like that, like tiny, like you always do, like you always see, like
6-star?
lifting events.
Did you
Yeah,
see anyone pull the 6-star?
Yeah, I've seen a
Really?
bunch of
Oh,
people.
I haven't even seen that.
Like, so long
Well,
as there's
but-
some chance, some people always will get it. 1,000 won't, but
Uh,
some people will.
Yeah, but what bothers me is the reel is so dishonest.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
showing like five gold pools in a row, and the last three are all 6-stars, and then like one gold crystal, then another 6 or 7 gold pools in a row. It's so dishonest, because what that does, like, imagine if you're a kid. Imagine if you're a young kid and you're able to get a couple of these crystals, okay, and you spin them because your favorite YouTuber is going to buy them, and you're seeing all these gold pool, and you saw, oh, I almost got him, which we all know that it's not, you're almost got him. As soon as you decide to open it, it already knows what you're doing. it's giving that sensation like a casino of gambling of, oh, I could get it the next time, and it gets you mentally to think I'm going to spend more, I'm going to spend more, and spend more, and spend more, and that's ridiculous. It should be, if they're going to have the drop rates should be shown in the spinning of the crystal as well. You can't show a 6-star gold pool if you're going to have 50 of them in a row after like 10 seconds. You can't tell me that's a good average if I got to spend $13,000 on average to get him.
Yeah, no, so
that's stupid.
Here is the thing. I do actually, obviously, anybody who knows decent amount of this game understands that the real does not represent the actual chances and stuff like that. But there are plenty of people who play casually, or as you said, kids and stuff like who don't know that. And this effectively is gambling, and it's the way I look at it. It's kind of like false advertising, or even if it's technically not false advertising, you can see that this is one of the problems with the gaming industry and the tech industry in general, just not being regulated well enough. Kind of like, it's gambling. It's definitely pure 100% gambling with no chance of actually winning your money back, but getting a digital trinket instead. So it's actually even worse than gambling in a sense, but it works on all the same brain cells and brain thought processes and stuff like that.
Endorphins and all. It gets your endorphins, yeah. Hits your happiness spot.
Yeah, and here we can see like that is a definite thing that I dislike about this whole mobile gaming industry being so new and unregulated. It's kind of like the way I approach this right now is quite similar, again, let's say to tobacco industry, right? The advertisement options in tobacco industry is extremely limited because everybody generally agrees it's very harmful for you, just like gambling, right? You always need to put those gambler responsibility quotes and stuff like that. And here, where we still have the same thing, which is gambling, you're effectively presented with false proportions in your chances to win, and in my opinion, it should genuinely be illegal for companies to do that. Just like it's illegal to put all shiny, smiley, happy people now in packets of cigarettes. Like every country has basically made the cigarette packets black with harmful text, disgusting images to try and keep people away from it. And in all gambling adverts, we see all of these disclaimers like gamble responsibly, here's like helpline, stuff like that. But when it comes here, which is exactly the same thing as betting on sports or something like that, or playing slot machine, we have nothing, and we have exact opposite. We have something that presents this in much better light than it actually is. And it's especially obviously noticeable here, but it still affects every single reel that we have in MCOC. It is in no way, shape or form representative of your actual odds and algorithms and stuff like that. And we could get into even deeper rabbit hole about all the patents that Kabam have, where they can modify the loot box content and your odds based on your spending patterns, based on how actively engaged game and everything else. But just sticking to where we are and without trying to kind of like be completely grim and gloom, I do sincerely hope that in a very near future we will have a fix to this, and I do hope that either reels, well, I like the reel in a sense, it's like fun, it's a neat little animation, but they should be forced to have like proportionate representation at the very least.
Yeah, I agree with that. They're asking if you could turn the music down
I
slightly.
switched off. I actually forgot that.
But
I wanted
it's very
to do that.
It's very, what's the word I want to say? It's very gray area because legal reasons they are in with their right to do this, but a lot of countries are starting to wise up about how these are predatory in nature and such. And yeah, I think they need to really get that, like we all need to get that passed around so we can stop this from happening as
that's
much.
the exact problem. It's kind of like for legal reasons they can do it, but the only reason it's legal is because it's has never been regulated. There's not like no proper historic precedents, and they're being, for whatever reason, treated differently than they are.
Yeah, I really
Eventually.
feel we could have a whole episode of KT Time just talking about loot boxes, which is what these crystals are in essence,
Yeah.
and the legality and the loopholes they go through and the lobbyists they have in governments and such to make sure that they don't get classified as gambling. I mean, honestly, we could, but the truth of the matter is these crystals are bad. Don't buy them, please.
Yeah. Well, in
End of the
general,
day.
I'll just put it out there. If you're not somebody who has a career, not a job, but a career and significant amount of disposable income, do not spend money on crystals. That's quite things like crystals. Even for in the context of this game, typically like spending money on quality crystals or these crystals or a whole bunch of others are some of the worst decisions people can make. Because again, and it always plays on the same happy spot in your brain. What if the chance to win? Oh, it'd be so awesome if I had 6-star Goldpool. Doesn't often work that way. Therefore, my personal advice is always, if you spend anything, just focus on guaranteed value as much as you can in this game, and try to eliminate the algorithm, the RNG, as much as you can from your gameplay experience. Obviously, ultimately, vast majority of the things go through RNG, but there is difference whether you open cow crystal or you open a 6-star crystal. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And
You just you play the odds the best you can, and you don't take chances when you don't have to.
yeah, exactly. And in general, for
And
vast
no,
majority of general public, even if you are perfectly willing and happy to spend some money on a game, I spend some money on a
yeah,
game if I see a good offer or whatever. Well, I suppose I'm in a bit different situation because I can quote unquote get some of my money spent back if I make it into a video and stuff like that. But in general, even I try to do the best I can to stay away from this kind of like excessive RNG. If I do spend money, it's typically for some guaranteed value, or there has to be like some significant upside. And quality crystals are by far the worst infection this game has had, in my opinion.
yeah. And if anyone's asking, is this worth it even for getting gold? Let's
No.
say you get only the, which I've seen a lot of people open these crystals, by the way. You get the minimum 15,000 gold. If you bought 10 of these crystals, that's 400 units for 150,000 gold. I don't think anybody here, if Kabam popped up an offer and said, "Hey, we're going to give you 150,000 gold, give me 400 units," I don't think anyone here would buy that offer.
Yeah, exactly. You can
So think
average.
of it
You're
that
probably
way.
gonna pull some higher ones. Let's say for 4,000 units, 4,000, you're gonna get 2 million gold. That about.
Yeah, that's
Slightly
2
more, slightly
million
less.
gold for over $100. It's not worth it, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
There's
a
gold arenas
throw
and
in
stuff
and
that can
then
do that.
casual unit offer frequently. Like, you know, if you can spend 3,000 units on some offer, it's frequently thrown in with like 1 million or 1.5 million gold. So
Yeah,
gold by
so look at
itself
it
is
that
by
way.
no means worth it. No gold crystals in this game are worth it.
Yeah, like I've seen even like when you're buying the deals, I think like a $30 deal comes with like 250,000 gold. So if you look at that way, 400 units is roughly, what is that in game? 400 units, it's almost, let's say $20 roughly. $20,
It's
maybe
like
15 to 20.
15 bucks, I'll say.
15 and 20. Okay, let's say 15. So if you're buying an offer for 30, usually they'll give you at least 250,000. So you're getting, but you're getting other things with it. So you're saying you're happy paying $15 to get 150,000 gold, not even as much as you'd get in the offer, and you don't get any of the other stuff, even though it's half of the price. It's ridiculous. Just never, don't do it, guys. Don't
Yeah,
do it.
just don't. Don't
Just
open
don't.
these unless you
Stop it.
have a lot of excess income in your life. Again, and I want to make sure that I don't want to kind of like come from commanding. Ultimately, it's
Yeah.
your life, your money, your account, your decision. You're free to do whatever you want. But
Exactly. But we're
I'm
just
here
trying
to
to
say
warn
that
you.
I would not personally think that that would be a wise decision to make in context of this game. There are far better things you can do with those units. or that money.
I will say about at least 90% of the people here watching that come here every day ask KT and I questions, and you want answers on rank ups and stuff. Treat this advice the same as you would treat that. It's advice. You do what's best for your account. However, KT and I are both saying it's not a good deal. Watch all the videos. You'll see the rare person that gets it. You have to also wonder, did they have any they opened before that and they only recorded the part that they did good? I don't know. I'm not saying people do that, but there are people that could be trying to inflate their information too. But at the end of the day, not really worth it.
But speaking
There's
about
better ways you could be
information, we
using it.
did have something, well,
Ooh.
not even
Yes.
that miraculous, because we have had surveys in the past, but yeah, we did have a new survey come out. I did actually upload me filling the survey in its entirety, and I'll be honest, I kind of thought the survey was a bit pointless. I when I saw the survey, I always hoped like more or less about something a bit more specific, you know. And in this one in particular, a lot of the questions there were somewhat pointless. Like, you know,
it was more like, what do you not like about the game? What do you like about the game? What would make you play the game more? What do you not like playing about the game? What makes you keep playing the game? But the problem is like, okay, this is the third survey I can remember since you and I have been working together. They had the one about variants, they had the one about masteries, and then they had this one. And we've seen nothing come from the other two surveys.
yeah, definitely. And
So what the heck is coming with this one? I mean, this is the third survey now, and the span of like, let's say 7 months, 8 months, and we haven't seen anything come from it anyway. So what the hell's going on?
And it's like, what's the point of them sending it out if it actually doesn't lead to anything? Like, yeah, as you said, Mastery survey came out how long ago? It has been like...
I want to say September, October, somewhere around
so,
there.
So it's closing into half a year, and absolutely nothing has been done, touched, or changed.
And then I know the variant one came out, I want to say December. And now you got the... So it's like they're releasing a survey every 3 months for us, but they're not doing anything with it, or at least not communicating they're doing anything with it. They're just sending out the survey, and then they're like, well, we tried. That's it. Wash your hands. We're being open with our communication because we're letting them know they can talk to us. Yay. No. What are you doing with the information we're giving?
Again, in this case, once more, I kind of found the... Like, this was arguably what I would think most pointless and confusing survey. It used like fairly big words, broad terms that accounted for very little, and I think like considering the entire MCOC community at large, there would be a significant proportion of it that just don't even completely grasp what does Kabam want from them with those questions. It wasn't simply straight to the point worded questions. It was, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, the questions were very...
English is not my first language. I do have decent amount of vocabulary. Even I had to go like, what do they want from me? Kind of like thing. It's like, what are they asking?
Yeah, because like, I've got the questions up right now. I put it in a different browser so I could get to it again. So like the first question, it says, thinking about your most recent interactions with the game, MCOC, state your level of agreement or disagreement with the following guidelines. Okay, the first statement says, I think I would like to play this game more frequently.
It depends.
And it's like strongly agree to disagree. It's like, you want me to say that I want to play the game? You want me to suck more life of my time? I mean,
yeah, exactly. It's like kind of like, I want to play the game. What kind of question is that? It shouldn't be like in a widespread survey. It's got somewhat agrees. Like ultimately, it depends whether the game's fun and whether I'm interested in the game. It doesn't. It's not down to whether I would like to play this game more. It's whether I find this game interesting.
Now, these are the next two are kind of go together. It says, I found the game unnecessarily complex, which to a new player it would be. I mean, could you try and explain? You did a video about it, about the like how to do Psycho Man, how to play him, which they gave everybody right off the bat at the beginning of this month. I don't know how the hell to play him. There's 3 different ways to play him, like 3 different stances.
Well, we're gonna get
every
to
time
the
you do
Psycho Man, but it's not just
that
it's confusing to play him. That there's very little reason to learn how to play him. And,
and then I thought the game was easy to use. What the hell does that mean? Easy to use? It's not an appliance here, man.
I know. Especially consider last month event quest, where like everybody had to make like 5 videos
Yeah, explaining how
that
to
or
get
try
the
to
thing.
explain
Yeah.
what's the best strategy, what you have to do not to miss out on the rewards, which quest you can and cannot play, and which quest you have to avoid, which immediately brings up the question, why put in quests that you cannot enter a single time if you want to get the maximum rewards? Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of like Kabam's trying to
Yeah.
trip you up with some of those like curveballs there. And yeah, no, game is 100% unnecessarily complex. So are the champions, and so are the events often, and so are the nodes.
And then the next question was, I think that I would need the support of someone who is knowledgeable in MCOC to be able to play this game. Yes, that's why people are here, KT. They're coming here for the knowledge. Seriously, I mean that's ridiculous that they.
Well,
Yes,
for
that
me,
goes
it's
to
like,
show your
come on,
game.
chill. I can confidently answer that I do not need support from anyone.
Yeah, right. But anyway, it's just crazy, man. It was just, but there was some good things. Like I thought there was too much inconsistency in the game. Yep, that's definitely one. The game's too cumbersome. I'm confident interacting with it. I need to learn a lot of things before I can get going with the game. It's just, yeah. That's basically what it was saying. It was like, do you agree with these statements or not? That's all it came down to. But like the statements were basically just like either really positive or kind of negative.
Well,
And that was it.
the way I found it's kind of like whether you agree with these statements or not, but those statements are meaningless because they are the wrong questions. You shouldn't be asking whether I would like to spend more time in this game than I currently do. It's something that they need to achieve. It's ultimately the goal that any game does, is try and draw interest and time and effort and money ultimately from their players, right? It's not whether I would make a conscious decision to want to spend more time in here. It's that me spending time in the game is the end result of them doing something right and captivating my attention. So whoever came up with that survey, honestly, I am tired about being nice and beating around the bush. It was a dog shit survey. It was one of the worst and most pointless surveys that I have ever seen in my life. I don't think any of those questions legitimately will ever serve a functional purpose into actually enacting any change to the game, which should be the point of these surveys. It was fucking awful survey.
It was a bad one. It was a waste of time. I think it came down to, just like I said, oh, we're about to hit the end of a quarter pretty soon. We need to get a survey out to meet the quota of our survey, one per quarter. Get the intern to hurry up and make one. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, and it really felt like they gave it to special needs intern who's learning to type.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, not trying to really be too mean.
I mean, like for
I
grade school
I get what you're saying though.
Genuinely, I just didn't either. I'm absolutely stupid one, and I don't understand the point of these questions the way they were formed, or either somebody else just asked me a bunch of questions that ultimately I don't think will serve any purpose.
It just made no sense. The best part of the survey was where we could put whatever we want in there, but no one's going to read those anyway. So
yeah.
At least I don't feel they will. I have yet to see me type anything in there and them actually give any positive feedback for what they
take any action from the survey that they released nearly half a year ago, which is about masteries.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's just yeah. Anyway, so that came out. That was one part, and then yeah, I think we've kind of said all we need to say about that. So speaking of complex champions and all that fun stuff, we've got 2 new champions that came out this month. One of them technically hasn't come out yet, but early access.
Well, I have him. So. I can show him. I got this. Yeah, early access bundle here. The thing that I told everybody not to do. But at the start of every early access bundle opening video, which I actually might stop doing because I don't think it's wisely invested £100. But it's also with the idea that I do have a new champion that I can make more videos often, like get myself new content.
Sure, you can show it. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. I got what you're saying.
And also there's some guaranteed value. So if you ever buy any calves, then that is probably the best way to go about it. Because at least you get the boosts that are quite rare and some guaranteed 6-star shots.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, anyways, the champions themselves. So we have Psycho Man and Super Scroll, right?
Yeah.
And when I was reading their abilities, it was clear that they're going to have complex rotations. there was a tiny bit of hope that despite like a very large amount of text, they might have relatively straightforward rotations, even though their ability sheet reads quite crazy. A good example would be like Nick Fury and Doctor Doom from 2019 champions, right? They got a
Yeah.
ton of abilities, but when it comes down to actually playing them, very straightforward.
True.
You probably don't even need to know every single ability Doctor Doom has.
Shut up and take my
Oh,
money.
we have phones coming in
Phones
with $2.
$2. Thanks for all the helpful vids. Great work.
Thank you very much, Phone. But the point was, those champions are complex on paper, but when it came down to playing them, it was fairly straightforward, very consistent, and quite easy to learn, and definitely worth learning. And there was like a little hope that I had for that. But when I actually have gotten now to play with both Psychoman and Super Scroll, it's clear that they have extremely complicated abilities, hard to manage rotations. Neither one of those champions is easy to command during the fight. There's a ton of timers that you need to keep an eye out for. You need to consistently remember for Psychoman which mode does what for what special, that kind of thing. And for Scroll, there's again 57 different timers, and you need to count every single buff and keep an eye on rotations and obviously opponent's power. And it's very, very, very hard playstyle. It's kind of like it's funny to me that we complain that Silver Surfer has lots of timer watching involved, and we're looking at something like Super Scroll now, which has that tuned up to 11 and then supercharged. And
exactly, yeah.
The worst bit about it is that even though I'm sure that there will be some very limited amount of situations where those champions would be worth using, sad truth of the matter is that, in my opinion, nobody ever will use these champions.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're mediocre and too hard to figure. Well, I wouldn't even say figure out a rotation. It's just they're too complicated for complicated sake, where nobody in their right mind would choose them over somebody else that could do the same thing, if not better, and easier.
Well, yeah, I made a video. Oh, Rosie's here, by the way. So
yeah,
and I made a video earlier this week where I basically said that having a lot of things on a champion can be cool, but they actually have to matter. And for these champions, only things that really matter, let's say in terms of Super Scroll, are the most basic ones. Like the very, very basic. When you strip away everything else, the only things that matter about the champion that he's a champion that's Incinerate and Shock Immune, because that's I think fairly unique.
Rare.
And I don't think there's many, if any, champions who combine those two.
I don't think anyone is. Yeah.
And the fact that he has access to Incinerate, which in itself is a piece of utility, and then everything else that is built around these lines and lines of text and starts to have like complicated rotations. He has 10 of the most pointless and meaningless Furies in the game. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes, I know exactly what you mean.
And with Psychoman's kind of like very similar. It's very, very little in that huge kit that's worth being aware of.
Yeah, it definitely was. I was hoping that one of them at least would be good, and I was really putting the money on Psycho Man being the better of the two, which technically I guess he is, but at the same time, both are kind of. I mean, we've had 4 champions released this year, and Strive is the only one that kind of piqued my interest, and other
Even
than that,
Strife,
the other two
has been like wildly
he hasn't
popular.
even been that great.
It's extremely hyped, but it's kind of like died down instantly after he's got released.
It was hyped before he came out and when the crystals came out, but I mean, you don't hear much about him now anymore. But it's like all the champions released this year, one of them had a lot of hype. Everyone's excited for Jubilee. These 2 champions, people were like Psycho Man, they're like, eh. And then like, who the heck is that? He looks funny. And then Super Scroll, they're like, oh, he looks really cool and he's got cool animations and maybe he'll be just as good as like Thing plus Human Torch plus everybody together, all the good parts of the Fantastic Four. No, he's not, and it's unfortunate.
Well, here's the thing that, again, like kind of annoys me with obviously the fact that we're getting effectively pointless champions that nobody's gonna learn, use, or like want.
Right.
For most part, is also that what's the most ethically correct way to form this? when it comes to Kabam's extended PR department and champion advertisement, it often sounds like every new champion that's about to get released is the new favorite champion. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah, it's the flavor of the week.
yeah, it's flavor of the week. Everybody's ecstatic. Everybody's excited. Everybody's this is awesome. This is awesome. This is awesome. Like Strife's a good champion, fair enough. But before Strife was released, it was presented as if Strife has the cure to AIDS and cancer in his level 1, and he can grant you eternal life on his level 2. And as long as you acquire Strife, everything will be good, and this game is gonna be taken care of. And as soon as Strife comes out, everybody's like, yeah, whatever, I'll just use Aegon.
Yeah, it
The
was
same
like he was
people
treated like he was the second.
who make and present all these arguments, and it's not just the content creators; it's often the people down the chain who have either seen these videos or read the abilities and draw the same conclusions. And it's kind of like
Yeah,
down to the point where the grass is always greener on the other side, or you're always kind of like wanting the things that you don't have more, but when you actually get them, then you're kind of like, yeah, whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
yeah, and not only that, just it's what's the word? It's like they've treated Strife like he was the second coming of Aegon, like really like he was, or he's going to pass up Aegon,
Well,
and he isn't. We know that.
and there is also a point, obviously, that obviously he's quite new when he's gonna get introduced to basics, and more people are gonna use him, and then we're gonna see some resurgence in that. But my point is kind of like, if he really was that great, then every person should have done everything within their power, whatever kind of like money they have saved up, or whatever kind of units they had saved up, went crazy on caps or went crazy in arenas, and now we should be seeing like those people kind of like justify the cause of Strife being the Jesus replacement. But
Yeah,
it's not happening.
and I see Jorna said this. He said this in chat. He said that nobody has Strife. That's why I don't see videos. No, that's not correct, because there are people that already have Strife. Not only that bought him from Crystal, but also grinded their butt off for him,
exactly. It's like
and they got him.
top
KT
300,
has
so
Strife.
at least 300 people who are kind of like
Or
up there.
600, up to 600.
Well, up to 600, yeah, at the very least. That's not counting anybody who has pulled him. And many content
at least
creators do
600, but I guarantee there's probably thousands out there. And
Yeah,
KT
of
is
course.
one of them. And guess what? He's not that great.
not
like
even-
not KT's not that great. Strife is not that great. So that's
But
what I'm saying. KT's great. Don't get me wrong.
But yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
So there's that, and that in combination with the fact that these champions quite often are somewhat useless. Let's like Jubilees. Like, I don't think Jubilee remains unchanged. I don't think 6 months, 9 months, a year down the line, anybody is gonna remember that Jubilee is a champion.
Yeah, if I ever pull her from a basic 6-star, I'm gonna be so pissed. Let me put it that way. I'd be pissed.
I mean, new champion is new champion, but in this sense, it's like...
No, I'm talking about like a year from now. I'd be pissed. I'd be like, I'm not gonna use this champion. Wasted me. I could have duped my doom.
It's like, and obviously there will be people who rank Jubilee for if they find her fun. Like,
Because they love Jubilee.
Mortal Hulk's
People
definitely
rank
not a great
up anybody.
champion, but he's very, very fun, and that's also, as far as game, and this is a game's concerned, is a purpose. But let's take a look at Psycho Man. Stupid complicated, criminally low damage output, some decent utility, and yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel very excited anymore about these new champions.
I was supposed to grind for the second round of Psycho Man, but then I had all these power issues and stuff. And you know what? Honestly, forgot about it until this weekend, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I was supposed to grind for him. I don't care. I don't even feel like I missed anything." I was like, I don't care."
But
and none of these characters seem like they're gonna be good in any content.
Thing,
like I said, not better than what we already have.
Like, I already kind of noticed this downward trend in overall power level in 2020, where every champion that came out, like, a lot of them are unique, fun, interesting, and stuff like that. And I had, let's say, medium level of desire to acquire them. I wasn't like desperate for them, but I was like, that would be cool. Whereas like previously when like Nick Fury or Doom came out, it's like, I must get this guy no matter what. Like, I'm gonna spend as much as I can spend. I'm gonna use all my units. I'm gonna grind if I can grind. I must get him because this guy's gonna be awesome. In 2020, pretty much no champions like did that at all. Maybe with the exception of CGR and like Apocalypse. And unfortunately, this year we have kind of like gotten even lower.
Getting worse. It's almost like they're just releasing champions. They know they're gonna have to go back and buff so they can continue buffing them years from now.
Messiah is coming in with 50, man. Thank you very much, Messiah. Definitely appreciate that.
Shut up and take my money.
Messiah
Thank you, my friend.
$66.49.99.
Well, I'm back too, Messiah.
Since I've been MIA the weekend, let's go beard gang.
But okay, let's take a bit more positive spin on these guys. So which
Yes.
one you like more, and why do you like them more?
I still am a psycho man, I guess is the way to say it, because he still has some uses. He's another good tech champ, which we could always use it. You know, when I say good, I mean he's decent. He's not horrible. He's not Iron Man original bad. But at least Iron Man's a little bit more to understand, but you know what I mean. But I mean, he's the better of the two in my opinion. While that shock and incinerate immunity is nice, I just feel like he's the better of the two between them. What do you think?
Well, I do think Psycho Man is the better of the two, but that could change, and I'm not married to the idea. And the reason why I think he's better than the out of the two, because he has that rotation where you effectively infinitely power lock, special lock the opponent, right? You give up all your damage output, which
Kind of a bummer.
oh, will do, my friend. Messiah, thank you very much. But yeah, you're good. But with Psycho Man, it's kind of like he has that magic-esque.
Shut up and take my money.
He has that
Messiah
magic-esque ability.
$66.19.99. Send this to Mando for a drink and that beard.
And you know, like if you can completely power special lock the opponent like relatively quickly and early on, that is extremely valuable, because magic itself, she doesn't have like the highest damage output, but just the fact that she shuts down a very important aspect of the game, which is opponent's power, is extremely valuable. And
Yeah,
that alone, in my opinion, grants Psycho Man some decent level of power. But again, that at best put him to a value level of similar to Psylocke, and nobody's playing Psylocke. Why? Because it doesn't hit hard enough, and you have better alternative, which is magic. You know what I mean?
yeah, which is exactly true. Yeah, exactly
So
true.
if
It's
they
another
bump up his
silent
damage
champ.
numbers, then obviously there's going to be some value, because he does have quite a lot of extra bits of utility, like the towns, the shock, the whatever else, but he just doesn't hit hard enough for anybody to ever kind of like properly want to use the guy, right? And therefore, unfortunately, like I probably think he's currently better of the two champions this month, but he's still so down the list where it's just not going to matter. He's effectively he's like something similar to Psylocke, I think. Psylocke plus. Psylocke, yeah.
Yeah, Psylocke Plus. That's
And
pretty much
the
right.
thing with
Yeah, tech
Super
version of
Scroll,
Psylocke.
yeah, the thing with Super Scroll that is cool is you can replace the Fantastic Four members. That alone is quite valuable, because then you can get to bring in a Cosmic Champion on an otherwise very monotone science team. And then obviously the fact that he has shock and incinerate immunities, which again is important. But again, I just don't really see that being enough. I do hope that once Super Skull's out and people maybe have gotten a bit more used to his rotation, because his damage isn't as bad as people say.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
not as
that
bad as
he's
people
very
thought.
hard to play compared to an average champion, and he doesn't have the highest payoff for that.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
we'll see.
as more people get more familiar with him, his playstyle, his rotation seems more organic, and he actually sees some game time.
Yeah,
Because of the damage purely, I do expect Scroll to be played more, but
yeah,
like
probably.
purely on utility, I think Psychom is better.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Well, last few minutes, let's talk about February, like as a whole so far, because it's coming to the end of it. We've got all the content that's going to come out this month, pretty much, with the exception of like the calendars that we have going still. But
No, we basically have gotten everything. And
yeah, we've gotten everything.
yeah,
What
obviously
of
you had a very special February yourself right now, so
yeah, my February was just lovely. I love that. But I don't know, man. What do you feel like is your favorite part of February so far?
well, this isn't like the highest of praises, but I think the thing that I personally have enjoyed the most definitely has been the simple fact that there was always been something a little bit extra every day, like thanks to all of these different
Yeah.
calendars, like something gifting. Even though it wasn't like, let's say, quote unquote, busy or big month in terms of champions or anything else, it
Yeah.
well, the buffs, some of the buffs are actually quite alright, but I think just the fact that they kept us engaged a little bit more than normal with like all of these kind of like romance crystals, sending these envelopes, sending the love letters, whatever else. We kind of have like little bits of, I don't know, interest, excitement, something to do. Like, you know, it wasn't just kind of like log in your standard login calendar and nothing else to do. So even though it
Right.
wasn't like huge anything, there was a lot of little things peppered and sprayed in that kind of like put a little smile on your face. Like every morning they logged in, it's like, oh, I get some extra shots. Oh, free 88 units or something, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I really loved the fact that we had the ability to gift, and it was nothing you even had to pay for. Everything that you've been able to gift has been free. You got from the calendar, logins, doing arena, whatever. But that lunar event, I always look forward to every year because that's when we can really get more loyalty, and there's really no other way to get that. And I'm almost at 200,000 loyalty thanks to that, and I'm so happy. But it's been fun. It's been nice logging in every day. I immediately, because I always remember with these events, it's best to get like somebody in your alliance to be your trade buddy, and just I
Yeah.
locked that in right off the bat, and that has been so nice because we've kept up with it, and it's nice to have that
It just
partnership. But
saves so
yeah,
much
it's been nice that
hassle
we've been able to do
because
it.
especially in these events, you
Yeah.
have to look, you have something to gift like every other day, you know? You get like
Yeah,
a
exactly.
envelope or something, something. It just saves so much hassle if you can automatically go gift something and you know that you're just gonna get back whenever he finishes the content or something.
Yeah, and it's been nice to have that every single day. It's been nice because even with a side event, you're able to open crystals and possibly get new champions or at least get resources or get, the ability to get just open crystals without paying for them. That's always the nicest thing, especially for free to play players, because you get to open champion crystals and you're not having to spend money and you're not having to do it, and you have the ability to open Cavalier this time, which I really love, kind of like it was in Christmas. The crystals weren't as great as Christmas, however you still got the ability to open quite a few of them if you did all the content, which was nice.
Yeah, and
So they definitely kept
w-
kept us busy.
yeah. What I wanted to say, another kind of like nice thing that I don't think many people noticed, that was extremely cool, that you kind of got a lot of what people needed and complained and brought up as problems to progress your account, because we had all of these little milestones that gave considerable chunks of ISO, plus we got all of these cow
Yeah.
crystals and everything else that again let you open crystals, and even if you didn't get the champions you wanted, you sure as hell got decent chunk of ISO for
Yeah.
them. And then we had these arenas and everything else that kind of like gave you an influx of gold. So for those have been some of the pain points in the game, and
Yeah.
I think low key this event did quite a lot for a lot of people who might have struggled to rank up champions that they already have and they have catalysts for, in terms of like helping out with the gold and ISO situation.
Yeah, I think that was nice. It was a nice needed for the resources and everything. It really just helped everybody get a little bit more, especially with all if, they pulled a new champion and stuff. It definitely is nice that they have the ability to rank them possibly because of all these solo events and objectives and things like that. So it's been nice, man. It's been overall much better than
Oh
January.
yeah, definitely much. It's because I think they split the action properly, right,
Hmm.
evenly.
Yeah.
And then again, even though we hadn't had massive anything, it's been
Yeah.
quite busy. Plus, obviously,
Yeah.
Mole Man
Shut
being
up and
GOAT
take
now.
my money.
Messiah 66 $19
Yeah, Mole Man on my baby
99
account.
to respond to Nyan my bank on big amount.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
Nyan you need to worry about Messiah's bank account. He certainly doesn't.
for sure.
So,
But yeah, definitely. This month was more spread out. It's exactly the kind of content we need to see more often, monthly. If they want to keep us engaged and keep us coming back, they want us to spend more time in the game. This is the way to kind of do it. Um, so yeah, definitely was
yeah,
was good.
I think this is again a somewhat winning formula, because a very large problem of MCOC has always been kind of like the third, fourth week of every month, even if they
Yeah.
release a big piece of content. Many people like split through it.
Yeah.
And especially if they don't release a big piece of content, you only have your monthly event quest to do and stuff like that, and then by like third, fourth week, there's very, very little to keep
You're
you
just waiting for the
excited.
new content again.
Yeah, so you're always waiting, and then this way, because when side quest came out in pieces, and then we had like all of these little calendars and stuff like that, so there was kind of like little minimum amount of action consistently coming through.
Yeah, for sure.
Messiah.
Thank you for your patronage.
Messiah's crazy.
I know
Messiah's awesome, man.
Messiah is
Shut
just
up and
dropping
take my
20s in
money.
now.
Messiah 66 $19.99. And for Mando
I know.
too.
But yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward. That's awesome. Thank you so much, man. I'm looking so forward to what they do in March, what buffs we're gonna see, what do you call it? What new champions we're gonna see, what new content's gonna be coming out. I just wanna I'm hoping
I
that we'll
kind of
eventually
like
see
that they
Platinum
kept us
Gold.
intrigued, by the way, because we
Yeah.
do know Angela, so they gave us like a little taste, like 25% of the upcoming buffs, and we still don't know the rest of them.
Yeah, but we should be hearing probably into this next week at the latest, I would think. Maybe the beginning of the following week, but I think into this next week we'll probably hear. So yeah. I don't know. Anything else you wanted to say about this month, February?
Oh, I wanted to say first of all, huge thank you to Messiah, man.
Yeah, for sure. Messiah is always the
But yeah,
GOAT.
no, I think we kind of covered it. I mean, like champion buffs. Again, some of the buffs were unfortunately not quite up there, but
That's what we were looking
but
for. We're hoping
Molman
for.
is awesome now. Kingpin is awesome now, and Falcon is starting to shine. So
Yeah, I think we'll just see more and more champions become less meme and more useful.
yeah, hopefully at the same time we get less and less bugs and emergency maintenance and whatever.
Correctamundo.
But yeah, I think we're done here. I already received an angry text from my girlfriend, so I probably need to.
Yeah, well, it's good to be back, KT, and
It's
we're
good
gonna
to
be
have you
doing
back.
the Abyss stream on Tuesday, right? Is that
Yeah,
what
we're doing
thinking?
Abyss of Legends. I'm gonna do Path 5. You know why? Because Path 4 is wildly considered to be the hardest path. And I want to
We'll
save
do that
it
last.
as the finale. Because
The
I would find
finale.
it fitting. So we're gonna do Path 5, which is gonna be my 4th revisited path on Tuesday. Stay tuned for that.
So excited. So excited, guys. And I'm back now, so oh, thank God LC Music Track make it to the end. But everybody, I want to take 2 seconds since we're ending this and thank you for being so supportive of KT. Thank you for welcoming me back. And I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to be in servitude for KT. And I thank him for all he's done. And man, has he upped his game since I've been gone. So I've got a lot to live up to now.
Well, thank you very much. And yeah, huge shout out to Messiah. And obviously Phones as well as Stealth Dog. And well, every single one of you for hanging out in here, keeping us company, listening to us, hitting that like button. Hope you guys enjoyed this week's KT time, and I'm gonna see you soon.
Bye.
Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all the information about the